Tonight, the U.S. military just rewrote its global playbook. A newly released national defense strategy is shifting America's focus, and it could reshape the relationships Washington has relied on for decades. Homeland protection is now front and center, while support for some traditional allies becomes more limited. China, once named the top threat, is suddenly framed differently, and Russia barely registers the way it used to. Long-standing global partnerships from Europe to East Asia are being asked to shoulder more of their own defense. This isn't budget talk or Pentagon jargon. This is a strategic pivot with consequences for U.S. security, alliances, and even everyday Americans. In this video, we break down what it means, why it matters, and how it could affect the world order. Before we dive into the full strategy and what it could mean for you, hit like, leave your reaction in the comments, and subscribe to American Sports Bulletin for fast, reliable updates on major national and global developments. Because when America's defense policy shifts, the world watches. Tonight, the Pentagon released its latest National Defense Strategy, a capstone document that lays out America's military priorities and posture for the coming years. Unlike past editions, this version signals a dramatic shift in how the U.S. approaches global security, allies, and its own defense priorities. At its core, the new strategy prioritizes defending the American homeland and deterring threats from major powers like China, while signaling more limited direct support for traditional allies in Europe and Asia and beyond. Gone, at least in explicit wording, is the hardline framing that once cast China as America's top strategic adversary, and instead the document suggests a more measured, stability-focused stance. One of the clearest takeaways from this policy pivot is the emphasis on homeland defense. The strategy underscores the importance of protecting U.S. territory, people, and infrastructure from a wide range of threats, from missile and cyber attacks to emerging technological challenges. This focus also extends to safeguarding strategic regions in the Western Hemisphere, including discussions about military and commercial access to locations like Greenland and the Panama Canal. At the same time, the NDS places greater responsibility on U.S. allies and partners to manage regional threats. In Europe, the Pentagon's language assumes that NATO nations are now capable of taking the lead in defending their own territory, particularly against conventional Russian forces, with the U.S. playing a supporting role rather than a dominant one. Meanwhile, in East Asia, nations like South Korea are expected to take the primary role in deterring North Korea, with the U.S. providing critical but more limited assistance. This pivot reflects a broader worldview within the Pentagon that sees the U.S. military's most urgent task as defending its own homeland first, especially against technologies and capabilities that could rapidly threaten the continental United States. It's a concept that some analysts describe as shifting from traditional forward-leaning intervention to a model that is America first in defense planning. Perhaps one of the most striking departures from recent strategy documents is the softer tone toward China and Russia. Previous plans often labeled China as a revisionist power intent on displacing the U.S. globally. This new strategy replaces that language with notions of ensuring stability and deterrence while encouraging increased military-to-military dialogue. Russia, too, is mentioned more as a manageable challenge for Europe's collective defense forces, rather than an existential threat requiring U.S. frontline dominance. For many of America's long-standing partners, this emphasis on self-reliance is bound to be controversial. European nations, which have leaned heavily on U.S. military support since World War II, are now being nudged toward greater autonomy. In Asia, this strategy could encourage Tokyo, Seoul, and others to invest more heavily in their own defense capabilities, even as historical rivalries complicate these shifts. Critics argue this change could weaken collective security frameworks and embolden adversaries who see a less engaged U.S. as an opportunity. Others say it's a necessary recalibration given the financial cost of global deployments, the emergence of new threats like hypersonic weapons and cyber attacks, and the strategic complexity of balancing alliances with great power competition. One example of the strategy's tangible future impact is in missile defense, with proposals such as the ambitious long-term Golden Dome space-based defensive shield intended to protect the homeland from ballistic and hypersonic threats. Programs like this show how the Department of Defense expects to shift resources into cutting-edge deterrence technologies rather than conventional force projection abroad. This new defense blueprint arrives at a time when global geopolitical tensions remain high, from flashpoints in the Taiwan Strait and Korean Peninsula to Russian military posturing and Middle East volatility. However, the United States' approach now appears to be less about shaping conflicts overseas and more about ensuring security at home and encouraging allies to step up externally. So what does all this mean for you, the viewer? It means that America's defense policy is entering a new era where domestic protection takes precedence. Allies will be expected to carry more of their own strategic weight, and global military engagement may look quite different in the years ahead. What do you think about this shift in America's defense strategy? Are allies ready to handle more of their own security? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit like and don't forget to subscribe to American Sports Bulletin for more timely updates on national strategy, global security, and news that affects your world. Stay informed and stay prepared as this story continues to unfold.